Okay, so I'm obviously not in the Subaru. And there's only so much time tonight with this terrible lighting to actually update you all on what's going on. But big changes are coming, and I'll have to tell you all about them more in the morning. Good morning from a very sleepy, very tired me, and my new truck camper for the next few days at least. I'm in Colorado at an absolutely magical backcountry women's ski and snowboard event, and I somehow won a stay in this truck camper a few weeks ago, which was perfect timing considering I've been switching my setup from the Subaru back to something a little bit more like this. This is the Toon Outdoors M1 truck topper with a build inside from a different company that I can't remember right now, but it actually doesn't matter all that much. I will give you guys a tour, but this isn't sponsored. I just got lucky, and so I'm really excited to share an unsponsored, honest take on this truck camper, feel what it's like again to be in a truck and to be able to stand up. I really miss that, and to just go out and have a great time with some other women on the mountain this weekend. So this camper is fully enclosed. It has windows all around, a really nice galley area, but because it's winter, they did not put any running water in it. They didn't fill the tanks, which fair enough. But I did bring my Dometic water jug. I've got my Jetboil here for a little camp cooking setup, and all my clothes, and that's basically it. It is really bare bones, but I think that is how these campers are meant to function, so you can really customize them yourself, which I appreciate. But bare bones or not, I'm gonna have my coffee, I'm gonna have my oatmeal before I get dressed and head up the mountain for the day. And while I do that, let's go ahead and take a moment to hear a word from today's sponsor, Bluetti. Being in a new camper with a different power station this weekend that's supposed to run the lights and the heater, spoiler, the lights did not work, has made me all the more grateful for my Bluetti AC180P, Charger 1, and PV350 system, which the trio alone has been powering our adventures on the road for over 3 months now, without fail. And especially now with the UV soaring in Colorado as we get closer to summer months, I've had zero issues keeping my Bluetti power station and all of my electronics charged around the clock. And that's partially due to the reliability of these systems, but it's also due to knowing how to use the PV350 and utilize the UV rays that we're going to be walking into this summer, which is what I'm going to be getting into today. Powering your Bluetti AC180P using solar panels can be broken down into 3 parts: energy capture, energy conversion, and energy management. Let's get into all 3. When sunlight hits your solar panels, especially visible or ultraviolet rays or UV rays hit your panel, it excites electrons, creating direct current or DC electricity. And while the panels do work best in direct sunlight, UV rays can actually penetrate clouds, which means that you can get a charge from your Bluetti PV350 even on a cloudy day. Then the DC electricity flows to an inverter, which converts it into an alternating current, or AC power, like you might use to power a laptop. This type of electricity is used by most devices and the standard grid. And this is where we as consumers actually have some power, no pun intended, because we can adjust the angle and orientation of our panels, allowing to have a more direct hit, therefore absorbing more of that ultraviolet radiation or UV light, which will effectively allow us to more efficiently convert into power that's usable by us. Finally, once this power is converted, the electricity can power your devices immediately via the 11 charging ports utilizing 18 1400 watts of output on the AC-180P or be stored in the 1440 watt hours for future use. So when you're deciding when or how to set up your panel, make sure that you're optimizing this for the time of day, midday having the strongest amount of radiation, the season, summer, with more sunlight hours to be used, panel cleanliness, like when I went to Baja last year and I had to consistently wipe off my panel to make sure that it could absorb the UV radiation and not be obstructed by dust, sand, or salt water, and the UV index, which unfortunately I'm struggling with today. If you can see this sunburn after the festival. It's not ideal when it's on your skin, but when it's on your solar panel, there's nothing better. Now, the Bluetti AC-180P specifically can handle up to 500 watts of solar input, but I've found, especially in high UV summer months in Colorado, that the PV350 hits that sweet spot between packability and efficiency on trips. On extra cloudy days or for last-minute adventures, the Bluetti AC-180P can be charged from an AC wall outlet at your home or at a laundromat from 0 to 80% in under 45 minutes, which is really ideal for those last-minute adventures this summer. Now, if for some reason you can't charge using solar, maybe it's an extra cloudy day or you're parked under the trees, you can't charge it with an AC outlet because you forgot or it's too late in the day, you can utilize Bluetti's new Charger 1, which has been my favorite addition to my overall power system, as it allows you to charge at a rate of 560 watts off of your car's alternator, which is 5.6 times faster than it was off of a normal cigarette outlet. So if you're in the middle of planning some big adventures like Tara and I are, head down to the link in the description down below to check out the Bluetti AC-180P, PV350, and Charger 1 systems, so that way you're ready for whatever adventures these longer summer days and sunlight bring you. And thank you again to Bluetti for sponsoring today's video. Alright, so we just went out and ripped a couple of laps. I'm so sweaty already, so it's a good thing the next lap is going to be naked. Unfortunately, I cannot bring my camera. I will not be bringing my camera on this lap, but we will have a blast, and if I can, I'll try to overlay some censored photos so you guys can get a gist for the vibe today, because vibes are high. Alright y'all, I have no idea how much of that I was actually able to show. Probably not much, but I did get some good butt shots, so hopefully those were included. That might have been the best ski run of my life. Not because I love mashed potato skiing, but because I just felt so free and stoked and happy with all these other women to be out there naked skiing. That was the highlight of the weekend, kind of, but now I can actually film more of the event and not just small clips of naked butts down a ski hill. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll see you guys out there, back at the event. Alright, I have definitely looked better, but I've also felt worse, so I'm gonna call it a win. I had a great night's sleep for what it was in the truck camper last night, and I was very grateful to not have to like smush myself into the Subaru. That is for sure. It is though my last morning in here, and I just wanted to take a minute to go over some of the things that I really liked some of the things that maybe I prefer about my Subaru, and what I'm thinking about going forward. And I'm going to be talking quiet because it's only 7:15 in the morning and most people are still asleep out there. I'd say that's one thing, but it's just the type of camper that this is. You have material all up top. These back windows are open right now, but even when they're closed, they're not like soundproof. So in terms of privacy, this doesn't offer a ton. Again, to be fair though, this camper does have glass most of the way around it, and you could obviously opt to not do that. I think the galley setup is super simple and nice. I do wish that the like holes were built a little bit better, or like more mindfully, I should say, for the things that go in them, because that caused a little bit of an issue during my stay here. The battery that comes with this camper got a little smushed, and some of the power in this camper, like the lights, were not working. So I'm glad that I have my Bluetti with me yet again. For it being such a small camper, I do appreciate the fact that they left the galley just a flat surface, because putting in a cooktop here just would take up like the whole space. And if you guys know me and my camper, I loved having a big kitchen, but I just don't think that it makes sense in here. Great job on galley design. And the other part of that is the platform that you guys are actually sitting on right now pulls out to a king-size bed. Now I, as one person, do not need a king-size bed, but when I go camping with Tara, if I want to have friends, if I'm bringing my partner along with me, or all of the above, we could all fit in here super comfortably. And I think that's really important when you're thinking about going to events, festivals, or camping out in the summer. Ultimately, I'm really glad that I got to try out the topper. I think that being able to stand up is a luxury I forgot that I missed. I love all the windows and how much I'm able to see, and the cross breeze that I'm able to create in here. I don't think though that I need something quite this fancy, and in a couple weeks I think I'm gonna make a decision on where I want to take my new camping setup, which I'm really excited about. I do kind of wish I was in a truck again, but I will be staying in the Subaru, and that's the other part. Obviously these don't go on Subarus, but if you are in the market for a topper, everything in here has been built at an extremely high level. It's very high quality materials that they used. The bamboo tops are super lightweight, the birch plywood is extremely strong, and I have no complaints about my stay here. And I would definitely recommend this to somebody who's looking for something efficient, lightweight, and modular, and a little bit luxurious, being able to stand a king-size bed and this badass Truma propane heater. I was toasty all night. I was comfortable in bed, the mattresses were awesome, and again, I think they did a great job. So if you are in the market, this is not sponsored, I was very impressed with the Thun Outdoors M1 camper. Alright, well, I am back in the Subaru and I'm on my way home. This was an insanely cool event. I'm so stoked that I was able to check out the Thun Outdoors M1 camper. Again, not sponsored. I truly just won something on Instagram, which is so fun because that never happens, I feel like, to me, but it was a really great chance for me to test out a truck camper again, but in a bit different of a way, a different style, a little more minimal and a little more part-time. And I will say the experience definitely convinced me that there are things that I would like to do to the back of the Subaru to make it a little bit more comfortable for longer trips. What that is, I'm not gonna divulge just yet, but know that I have a plan, and I think it's all gonna start happening this coming week. So be sure to stay tuned for that. The new adventure rig, the Subaru 2.0, budget friendly, I hope, build, because I don't have a ton of money to spend right now, and I'm hoping that it could just serve as a little bit of like modification inspiration to prove that you don't need a super fancy truck camper, a topper, or anything outrageously expensive to get outside. Speaking of, I hope that you all get out this week. Thank you to Bluetti for sponsoring this week's video. Thank you for Boot Tan Fest for one of the most magical, female-focused, empowering weekends of my life. I hope to see you guys next year, and I hope to see all of you next week when I announce what I'm doing to the Subaru. All right, I'll see y'all then. Bye.